Good evening. How is everyone? Good Monday to you. I am your friendly neighborhood, the Dungeon Delver, aka Bill Sylvie, coming back at you on a Monday for a short video, and we're going to talk about what's going on this week. Alan Rizkella, hello. Robert Phillips, Mobius, Jimmy Invictus, Doomsword, Damien247, Crimson, Bruce Pearl somehow not being deceased from stimulants. Lux Armach, but I hope you're all doing all right. The afternoon started off really well because I was like, yeah, I'll just kind of do a show tonight. I'm not sure what I'll talk about, et cetera, et cetera. And then as I stepped out to go to the grocery store, I found this. A package, which I was like, who is this from and what is it for? And it's from Jack Photon. So we're going to open Jack Photon's package here in a little bit, and that was really cool. And then I got in my car and drove about a mile, and the alternator caught on fire. It's not the new car. The Volkswagen is now someone else's problem. I just don't know what this is going to cost me. So I may end up going to GaryCon and just sitting around smiling. Anyway. But that is what it is. But hey, we got this cool thing from Jack Photon, and we're going to open this up. And we're going to have a gander at it and see what he's sent us. Now, I have a suspicion I know what this is. I have a suspicion that I know what this is. But if you notice, this is not like I'm holding it up. It's still sealed up and everything. So whatever it may be, we're going to find out together. Don't tell me that, Van. Anyway, so let's see what Jack has sent us and ooh and ah over it. If it's a white pages from his suburb, well, so be it. It had started to come open a little bit there, courtesy of the USPS. It said, open here. That wasn't for the post office. New Star Trek rules, perhaps. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally tear it open. Yeah, this might be new Star Trek rules. But we'll find out here in just a minute. You know what, Jack? I'm making my own rules. I'm just tearing this open. I'm just ripping this open. He did tell me to give the old ones away. That's right. But I've kept them because I think they're awesome. Used to have that Gateway to Adventure poster. I'm trying to do this and not damage anything. I'm actually following his opening instructions now. There we go. All right. We've gotten larger portions of it opened. Oh, this ain't Star Trek. This is not Star Trek. No, sir. Not by a long shot is this Star Trek. There we go. I got the end of it off. So what we have here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are once again handmade books from Jack. Oh. And they're pretty cool. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. First of all, we have 3 items here. There are 3 booklets. The first one is the Librum of Gainful Conjurations. Behold, with draft across it there. Special reference work, a compiled volume of information for players of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, including character races, abilities, classes and levels, equipment, costs and descriptions, weapon data, and information on adventuring from the Player's Handbook, Unearthed Arcana, Dungeon Master's Guide, integrated with new equipment from Dungeoneer Survival Guide, and the errata published in Dragon Magazine 35 and 103. So what our buddy Jack here has done is he has created a compilation, a Player's Handbook 2, if you will, of useful AD&D information. I'm going to have to pester him about a PDF so I can really share this with you guys. But this is a draft copy. And it's got some really cool art. It's got some stuff from the Player's Handbook. It's got some stuff from Unearthed Arcana and some new art in it. All kind of shared and arranged. And put together. Of course, we have a table of contents and appendices. This is really nice. I mean, this like, you slap a hardback cover on this, and you got an AD&D-like book. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So this, like I said, this would constitute like Player's Handbook 2, but his got Librum of Game. I said gainful. It's gameful. Thank you, Jack. Librum of Gainful Conjuration. Whereas, Jack, I want that file. You're going to have to ask him. That was a mouthful. Yes, it was, Colton. So we're going to carefully set this over here. Now, if you saw when I did the unboxing of the other stuff, these Star Trek reference volumes that he sent me here for the FASA Star Trek RPG, which is like it's the size of a car battery. You'll know that that's the guy has a great touch. Okay. No blue mimeograph paper on this one. And then we have the second volume. And again, this is a draft. This is very much like something that will be sent to a publisher. There's notes here. Hello, Adam Hamlin. Formalized page headers. Shift all LFRT on final page count depending. So yeah, this is like something that would be sent to a printing house. And what we have here is the Book of Infinite Spells, special reference work, a compiled volume of information for players of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, including all spells and descriptions from the Player's Handbook, Unearthed Arcana, Greyhawk Adventures, Dungeon Master's Guide, and various Dragon Magazine articles. So you take the spells section of the Player's Handbook and you completely fill it out with all of the spells noted there, and you get this. And there is, once again, a plethora of nice art. And then there are places for other art to be put. But it is laid out very much like an actual TSR book. There's details for delving into magical research article from Bruce Hurd is in here. That's from Dragon Magazine. No, Colton, this is actually, this is for AD&D. This is, these are some reference manuals put together by show regular Jack Photon, whom we like quite a bit. Now, I'm not sure when or if he'll make these available or for what cost, if he can charge for them. Where and How to Scrounge Up Spell Components by Michael Dobson, Dragon 81. And then we have the spell tables themselves all the way through to the end. And of course, Oh, and guess what? We have a product splash page in the back. We have an actual product splash page. You remember the TSR? Also available from TSR, every book except the one you're holding. War of Wizards, Dungeon, Fantasy Forest, etc. Well, Jack did the same. He's got a product page. Yes, Joshua, it does include. Mark needs these PDFs. Jack, you may have started something. Oh, man, look at this. Look at this. There are two product splash pages. There's a color one back here. I don't know how well that's showing up on camera. But look at that. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Player's Handbook, Unearthed Arcana, Fiend Folio, Monster Manual, Deities and Demigods, Monster Manual 2, Manual of the Plains, Dungeon Master's Guide, Greyhawk Adventures, Wilderness Survival Guide, Dungeon Master's Screens, Dungeoneer Survival Guide, Dragon Magazines 1 through 150, except no substitutes. This work is sourced from the following materials: Player's Handbook, Unearthed Arcana, Greyhawk Adventures, Dungeon Master's Guide, and then a quartet of Dragon magazines. So this is exceptionally well put together, but let's go back over here. His product page, Book of Infinite Spells. We're holding it. Now I've got to go look at the other one and see if it has a product page in it too. Librum of Gameful Conjurations. Gameful, that was the first one we looked at. Book of Exalted NPCs, shy of 40 NPC classes with a half dozen non-player races, as found in and collated from Dragon Magazine's issues 3 through 141. Other works in this personal edition of Gaming Aids include Codex of Infinite Games, a collation of primarily Dungeon Master's Guide and Unearthed Arcana, Dragon 35 and 103, and as appropriate. Manual of Monstrous Attentions, the Greater. Alphabetical collation of the Better Monsters. Manual of Monstrous Attentions, the Lesser. Alphabetical collation of the Lesser Filler, as there would always be someone to bristle. Why would you delete the Lava Children? They're the most fearsomest. Epistle of Extraplanar Encounters, collating all extraplanar dealings by plane alignment rather than mythos, so one may find the requisite ethos with greater ease. So that's great. That is great. Let's hop back to the first one before we jump into the Book of Exalted NPCs. And see if there's product page in it. There are credits and such in the back. So again, here we are, product splash pages, and this is in the Librum of Gameful Conjurations. Very well put together. This and hardback covers equals book that goes on my AD&D shelf. Like, I want multiple copies of these to give to people. And let's take a look at the Book of Exalted NPCs, because look, I've made no secret. I love, for example, the witch class. I think white witches or gray witches are fun curves to throw at players. So what do we have here? This is the Book of Exalted NPCs. I'll answer your question in just a minute, Robert. A compiled volume of information for players of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, including character races, abilities, classes, and levels, is published across Dragon Magazine's issues number 3 through 141, with some minor clippings from Dungeon Master's Guide and Dungeoneer's Survival Guide. Anyway, to answer your question, Robert, Wednesdays will still be Kyle. We will probably jump into playing Conflict on stream, which is Kyle's very lightweight game of adventurous warfare in the modern era. So let's take a look at this. Oh, there's a little splash in here from whoever. Now, Jack, I'm sorry. I don't know if you did this by yourself or that there was a team effort behind this. I'm assuming this is you writing this, but I'm going to go ahead and read it. On the Editor's Quarterly, there are only ever two questions: where to start and how to stop. With that in mind, the focus here is exclusively first edition AD&D, as it is here, for the most part. As such, NPCs for so-called D&D 0, Dragon number 2, etc., are not included, though some issue number 3 are included. The answer is where to start. That answer is where to start. It was issue 150 that saw AD&D 2nd edition hit the stands. Consequently, 157, the Sumartori, is not listed here. Similarly, the Escrimador, Geisha, and Genin are predate this cutoff. They are not included either, whereas the original Ninja and Samurai are included here. You'll also find the original Cavalier, Barbarian, and Thief Acrobat here too. Why this decision? Looking back, it's clear that while Unearthed Arcana added and smudged some rules around, Oriental Adventures fundamentally shifted the rulescape with the addition of the non-weapons proficiencies soon espoused by DSG and WSG, then formalized in 2nd edition. Consequently, the question on how to stop is answered by NWPs and 2nd edition creep. Phantom Force, layout editor. So immediately we start off with the Centaur Papers, and this is from an issue of Dragon Magazine by Stephen Innes and Kelly Adams. And we presumably have a couple of centaurs. And there's like pages here, and it's Dragon Magazine sized font. It'll kill my eyes. Yes, Colton, that is the breadth and depth of it. But if you want to run a centaur as a character, and let me tell you, before you flip the F out and come at me with your torches and your pitchforks and your swords drawn saying, Bill's gone that way, guys, remember, in Rogues Gallery, there is an NPC who wound up, or rather, there's a PC who wound up as a centaur, and he statted out. Your character can wind up as a centaur, courtesy of reincarnation. I'm not saying you should start as one. I'm just saying it can happen, and if it does, here's one by Bennett Marks. Hooves and green hair, NPC race, half satyr. Satyrs and dryads have a peculiar connection to the AD&D game universe. They are both members of one species, in which the males and females have widely varying abilities and attitudes. And the males and females do not make a habit of dwelling together. The child of a satyr father and dryad mother is either satyr or a dryad, depending on gender. Both dryads and satyrs can mate with humans as well, and the children of such unions possess distinctive capabilities and talents. Half satyrs and half dryads are unable, are usable as non-player characters in many AD&D game settings. And then it just kind of goes from there. Yeah, Jimmy, because where do the pants go? Over the front legs? Over the back legs? If they go over the back legs, do they just come up to the horse's belly? Or do they go over his midsection and cinch around just below the ribs, which is where they would fit on a human body? Or do they go over the front and back legs, and the crotch basically spans the entire horse's chest, and they cinch somewhere around the middle of the horse's torso? There's so many questions. So many questions. The half ogre. The whole half ogre, ideas for finishing what E. Gary Gygax started. And that came in Dragon 29, but this is Roger Moore kind of doing a little bit of cleaning and whatnot. Jack the 71. Centaurs are us. Hey, want to be a kobold? Humanoids, and this is by Joseph Clay. Humanoids as player characters in AD&D games. Not my cuppa. Not my cup. I'm not opposed to it being in here. This is a fan production made with love. I'm just saying. Oh, Greets Road March. I'm just saying I wouldn't run them in Even with the rules from, because I think dwarves, elves, gnomes, halflings, half elves, and half orcs, really that's kind of enough. And given that if you die and the only person handy is a low-level magic user or a mid-level druid, you may end up coming back as a badger. I think that's weird enough for my taste. But do centaurs? I don't think centaurs need pants road march. I don't think they do. But if you want to do it, here's the rules from Dragon Magazine to cover it. NPC race, the winged folk. We got enough of that on Friday night with 4077, right? Oh, that's all right, Clanner. I understand. RPG Grandma, starting trek home, drive safe. Please do. The winged folk. So you can have angel-like beings, but again, not terribly uncommon. NPC classes, the alchemist. We were talking about the alchemist the other night. Roger and Georgia Moore did that. Then we jump over to Len Lakofka's take on it from Dragon Magazine also, a recipe for the alchemist. And some unique spells for them. And then Tom Armstrong later on actually introduces us to another NPC, or another alchemist class, this one being an NPC. And what else do we got here? The Anti-Paladin. Yes. Jack included the Anti-Paladin is in here by George Laking and Tim Mesford. This guy, the Anti-Paladin, is strictly for NPC use for me. But that's me. You may feel differently. And it's got that wonderful artwork of the Anti-Paladin also, if you remember that issue of Dragon Magazine. So Jack preserved everything very well here. What level does the alchemist need to be to create chemicals that would be considered war crimes? And war? Considering that in World War I, it was square bullets and triangular bayonets were the only quote-unquote war crimes, I would say none, because they wouldn't be. So there's our Anti-Paladin. An archer subclass is introduced here. Are we still doing phrasing? Oh, wrong archer. Colton asks, would these supplements be used with the Osric? I'm running an Osric group and wanted more content like this to make Osric more appealing to 5e players who want extra races and classes. Osric is a 95% compatible to AD&D. Although some people will yell at me that it's only like 80% or 75% because it doesn't have psionics and it doesn't have the monk. And I can't recall if it has the bard or not. But given that and given Jack's predilection, I would say yes, these are absolutely suitable for use in Osric. Lux says no evil I don't like running evil campaigns. It's not to my taste. The astrologer class. No bard in classic Osric. Okay, so that's another point off. But I mean, grab your player's handbook. There's the bard. There's the monk. There's psionics. Boom, you're set. But with that said, yeah, no, these are. Why wouldn't these be compatible with Osric? So we have the astrologer, one who predicts. That's Roger Moore. Bandits, a shifty character for your campaign by Tom Armstrong and Roger Moore. That's almost some Warhammer Fantasy roleplay looking art there. She's gonna have a bandit class. And if you're curious, if you're wondering, if you're not curious or you're not wondering, the character levels for the bandit the level names are Looter, Raider, Marauder, Highwayman, Outlaw, Desperado, Reaver, Brigand, Robber, Bandit, Bandit Lord, and 12th level Bandit Lord. And we have Gary's 82 Barbarian. Re-PHB. The compilation is real. A real Trevor. Oh yeah, Mark. This is fantastic. And I hope Jack releases a final version like PDFs or what have you. King of the Jungle, the Beastmaster NPC from Ed Greenwood. You know, the Beastmaster. Who's that? Mark Singer that played the Beastmaster? Was that who that was? The Wild Warriors, the Ultimate Hack and Slashers, Berserker NPCs. Your love is like a big truck, Berserker. I have the worst car luck, Berserker. Wanted, the Bounty Hunter. And they go Seeker, Shadow, Trophyman, Hunter, Collector, Exterminator, Master Collector, Bounty Hunter, Bounty Hunter 9th level, Bounty Hunter 10th level, Master Hunter, Death Hunter, Great Hunter. That's right, Vincent, from Clerks. Don Coscarelli. Damien, am I correct on that? Don Coscarelli? And then we have another one, a different kind of bounty hunter introduced by Tom Armstrong later. And then a third one, Robert Tussey and Kenneth Strunk. Greetings, Dungeon Minister. Lehman's Tiny Hut by Leonard Lukafka and Brian Neistel. This is Bureaucrats. Oh, this has got to be a Dragon Magazine April Fool's issue. Clerk, Supervisor, Manager, Chief, Obstructionist, Official, Bureaucrat, Authority, Commissioner, Board Member, and Chairman. Yeah. Produce, trance, lose paperwork, confuse, captivate, infuriate. So yeah, that's got to be a April Fool's Dragon issue there. Thankfully, there's been no Beastmaster. I would say there needs to be one. John Stewart Keller, welcome. Good to see you out there. And of course, we now have the Cavalier introduced again. This Cavalier I liked because this Cavalier did not drag the Paladin kicking and screaming under it. A magical thief called the Charlatan from David A. Bellis is included here. Oh, Lord. I mean to shut that with such vigor, or at all, really. The Cloistered Cleric. I always wondered about this one. Greetings, Luther. We got a mail call from Jack Photon of 3 homemade AD&D handbooks that we are currently digging through a little bit. The Book of Infinite Spells, which is a compilation of all the magic spells that are spread out across Dragon and modules, and as well as the Player's Handbook. We have the Librum of Gameful Conjurations, which is a listing of player character classes from various sources. And we're looking through the Book of Exalted NPCs. So the Cloistered Cleric. The non-adventuring cleric. The regular cleric, according to AD&D rules, must have the following statistics: strength in a range of 6 to 18, intelligence 6 to 18, dexterity 3 to 18, constitution 6 to 18, charisma 6 to 18, and wisdom 9 through 18. Half-elf clerics must have a wisdom of at least 13. It might be extrapolated that other demi-human clerics must also have a minimum wisdom of 13, though half-orcs, since their maximum wisdom is 14, might have their minimum lowered to, say, 11. If the cleric is not human, his or her ability minimums and maximums must also be in accordance within the limits of their race. However, one wonders if a non-player character must meet all the same requirements, especially with regard to the minimum scores necessary to be a cleric, and, if they are allowed variation, how they may be balanced to retain some other advantage for the characters who do meet all the regular requirements. The AD&D game models its cleric after the medieval fighter, a la Templar or Hospitaller. Yet we are all aware that clerics then and now do not meet that standard. The AD&D game does not take into account scholarly, sometimes called cloistered clerics, or brothers who are not ordained but have some clerical functions. I would like to fill in those two gaps and allow for regular clerics as non-player characters who do not meet the ability score minimums for player character clerics. The easiest group to rule on is those clerics who do not meet the required minimums in strength, intelligence, dexterity for non-humans, constitution, or charisma. The minimum wisdom score must be kept at 9. If the cleric has a low strength, dexterity, or constitution, less than 6, he or she will be at a great disadvantage in melee. The character will be -1 or worse to hit or to damage, +1 or more on defensive adjustment, and or -1 or worse for hit point adjustment. The way to limit such a cleric is to say that if either strength or dexterity is less than 6, he or she cannot wield all the weapons permitted to the class. Such a cleric could use a club, hammer, horseman's mace, and staff only. The flail is either too difficult to maneuver or too heavy. The footman's mace is too heavy. If a strength is less than 6, the hammer can be wielded but not thrown. If both strength and dexterity are less than 6, the character will fight as a first-level cleric forever, no matter how many levels he or she might gain in the future. Greetings, Orbital Air. And just like is presented the fatigue levels in Gamble World, if you guys remember those, you go meleeing for too long and you start taking penalties. Your substandard cleric, in this case, is going to be taking some fatigue. Now, these cloistered clerics can operate as somewhat as sages. They have a percentage table there for having certain bits of knowledge. They fight as magic users and are allowed to use the footman's mace, the hammer, the club, and the quarterstaff only. They gain only one new weapon, that at 9th level. They do not wear armor or use a shield, but are allowed rings of protection, cloaks of protection, and bracers of defense. The chance of owning such a protection device is 15% per level, as is their chance of owning a magic weapon. They are allowed to use any written item allowed to a cleric or a magic user, except those items which would grant them levels of experience. They may employ potions as allowed to clerics or magic users, or to all classes, as well as any magic ring. They may use no rods, staves, or wands except a rod of cancellation, a rod of resurrection, a staff of curing, and wands of enemy detection, fear, illumination, and negation. Do you have all that stuff in your house, Dungeon Minister? You're like a box in your closet. You just tell the boys, don't go in that. That's dad's only. Pony Centaur Doctor. That would be the centaur for disease control. Moving right along. They use 4-sided dice for hit points. They're usually lawful, but might be neutral or chaotic. They can be either good, 40%, neutral, 35%, or evil, 15% as well. I always think of a cleric, thought a cleric detective, think Connery in Name of the Rose, or Brother Catafel would be really cool. Yeah, it would. And then we've got various new spells and so on and etc. That's just many. So you don't have like a wand of enemy detection up there. And it just kind of goes into that. I mean, I could be here all night reading that article. But he lays it out. This is in an issue of Dragon Magazine, The Cloistered Cleric. If you want to include that in your AD&D games, I think it's a darn fine addition. The Death Master for NPCs. Only the Death Master, a magic using monster to play against, not as. Man, look at this rendition of Orcus from the Monster Manual 1. This looks just like Orcus from Monster Manual 1, guys. Check this out. Doesn't that look just like Orcus Monster Manual 1? It's a placeholder frame. I know that, Jack. I'm not making fun of you. I'm just having a bit of a joke. The Dreamer NPC from John Nephew. Sounds like he should have been made to say uncle. Some of these, like the Dreamer, I feel like it would have fit like in that specific person's campaign. Like, I've created this. It's awesome for my campaign, but I can't. The Duelist. He might be coming up. I think Jack put these in order. The Druid Ranger, a classy explanation from Frank Mincer. We'll just skip right over that. The Duelist, a chaotic non-player character who likes to make people pay, by Arthur Collins. John Stuart Keller. There's a whole bunch of fluff text that basically a short story that precedes the mechanics of the Duelist class. Very interesting. Entertainer class. Let's see. Look, I got to skip ahead. I got to see if Jack included the witch in here. He better have. Some gorgeous color art in the back, by the way. The Witch, yes. Time Lords by Lewis Publisher. Hey, Jack. Were your ears burning, sir? Everybody in the audience right now, in the chat, as I lovingly call you all, in the chat is Jack Photon, the author of this and the other books, the editor, the compiler, and these are wonderful. Does the witch melt? I don't think so. Hopeless character classes. Oh, the hopeless character class, the idiot. Well, no, it's the hopeless character class. First level, klutz. Second, quack. Third, goof. Fourth, jerk. Fifth, blunderer. Sixth, fumbler. Seventh, maladroit. Eighth, public hazard. Ninth, incompetent. And then the idiot class levels dummy, dope, dolt, dullard, cluck, klutz, cretin, weirdo, nut, fool, imbecile, idiot. You only need 200,101 XP to be a very high-level idiot. The incantrix, kind of not predating the witch, but preceding the witch in terms of where it is in this books. He hates these cans. Oh, Colton, you want to hear more about the hopeless class? All right, I'll try. People are like beating down your door for these, Jack. You better get these done and make them available, my friend. There were people in here like, I gotta have these. Almost every gamer has had his days when the dice had his bad days with the dice when creating a new character for the AD&D gaming. I've had my share of them and have decided to do something about it. Instead of rolling and re-rolling and re-re-rolling and re-re-re-rolling the dice to get an acceptable character that the DM's going to kill off in 5 minutes anyhow, why not just generate a thoroughly lousy character and give it a class of its own? Thus was born the hopeless character class. In order to qualify as a hopeless character, a character must have all ability scores rolled as D4 plus 2, giving a range of 3 to 6 for all major characteristics, strength, intelligence, etc. A hopeless character will suffer some sort of penalty for each such characteristic as given in the player's handbook. Not to worry. After all, this is supposed to be a hopeless character. Let's see. Let's roll up a hopeless character real quick. I got my D4, got my 2 D4s here. So his strength is 5. Oh no, it's a D4 plus 2, not 2D4 plus 2. His strength is a 5. Intelligence, a 3. Wisdom, a 5. Dexterity, a 3. Constitution, a 3. And charisma, a 4. I had not given page counts on those, Jack. I had not. Yeah, so... race. All hopeless characters are human, since racial ability limits are too high for this class to qualify as anything other than human. Besides, humans are boring compared to things like elves, dwarves, and the like, and this just adds insult to injury for the hopeless character. Hit dice. Hopeless characters only get 1 roll for hit points, regardless of their level, and they don't even get to use regular dice at that. A first-level hopeless character receives 1 to 2 hit points. Flip a coin, with heads being 2 and tails being 1. The coin toss is reflipped at every level, and all former hit points are dropped and forgotten. A first-level hopeless character could have 2, then 1 at second level, then 2 at third, then back to 1 at fourth level, etc. You get the idea. Life ain't fair. I think we can do a D6 divided in half. So our hopeless character has 1 hit point. Armor. Any protection other than padded armor would be foreign and useless in the hands of a hopeless character. None of them know how to put on anything more complicated than an old quilt. And shields? Shields are too cumbersome and hopeless characters are needlessly burdened by them. Shields make nice dinner trays and wall hangings, however. Weapons. To their credit, hopeless characters may use any sort of weapon that has no moving parts to confuse them, sharp edges to cut them, etc., or any other dangerous parts. This eliminates all of the useless things like the speedum and the glaive guisarm, which no one can pronounce, much less use anyway. and leaves just the simplest and most efficient of all weapons, the club. No hurled or projected missiles may be used, as these always backfire in the hands of a true hopeless character, thus causing injury to either the thrower or the nearest ally. This rule applies to sharp weapons and those with moving parts. Oil and poison. Come on, get serious. Oil? Poison? Hopeless characters avoid these for their own good, being too clumsy to even think about using them. I mean, really now. Number of attacks per round, just one, no more. Also, as long as we're on the topic, hopeless characters don't have to worry about gaining any new weapons as they rise in levels or anything. Read the above paragraph on weapons if you can't figure out why. Alignment. Hopeless characters may be of any alignment that will have them. Strongholds. They will never settle down to construct a stronghold for the following reasons. They wouldn't have any idea how to get such a project started. If they received any help on getting it started, he wouldn't have the faintest notion how to govern a castle complex, its inhabitants or its retainers, servants, hirelings, etc. If by some major miracle or gift of the DM, the hopeless character accomplished both of these objectives above, those people who are supposed to be under his rulership would immediately realize they were under the command of an incompetent and would overthrow the character. If a hopeless character is lucky, he might be able to settle down and at some point construct a straw or sod hut. The character may govern as many chickens and pigs as he wishes until such time as they overthrow him. Henchmen and hirelings, not a chance. Would you work for a guy like this? So there you go. There's the hopeless character. Yeah, so I've been told that the guys at From Software actually love AD&D, like first edition AD&D, and it shows through in the aesthetic of the game and stuff like that. Jack says, I'm painting new full-color wraparound covers for each of these books, all done in the original styling as far as subject matter, look, and graphic design layout. I cannot wait. And then the idiot class is similar. The Incantrix, I at least want to read up, let's see. But how could a mere wizard defeat the Archmage with a spell so beyond her powers? Asked the sage skeptically. It is said, replied the teller of tales in a low, guarded voice, that she stole the spell from his own mind. Impossible, sputtered the sage. The other shook his head slowly. No, my friend, not for an Incantrix. Oh, hey, Viking Hat GM. I would think that the hopeless character would be right. You'd be like, yes, I want to play that. Everyone should play that. That's how you should be. So this is a Forgotten Realms specific character class. It's a lot more detailed and in-depth than just the out of that book of... Oh, that's easy, Colton, actually. Because it includes the spells from the player's handbook, I can answer that very simply. Locate plant. Locate plant. 3-foot radius. It's a second level druid. It's not even a first level druid spell. It's a second level spell. Okay, here's what it says about the Incantrix, Jack. I don't want to unintentionally mess something up. In the realms, according to the Sage Elminster, such individuals were and are very rare. It was not until the testing of the witch Elithria by the Council of the Mighty and Long-Age Goldathlyme. I'm sorry, guys, FR fans. I'm doing my best here. That such spellcasters were recognized as a distinct breed or class of magic users, even as we look upon illusionists with unusual talents in their own right. So I don't know if that means that they are specific to the realms or if he's just throwing a little bit of realms spin in the FR. I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, Colton. Okay, I got to explain this. We'll come back. We'll come back to this. We're not done with these books, by the way. Even though we're like 10 minutes out from wrapping up tonight's show, because there's, like I said, I want to talk about the witch class, and because that's probably my favorite alt PC or NPC class. Locate plants. We're going to talk about locate plants here. You're not taking it. Oh, yes, you are. I'm the game master, and I say you will. So let's take a look here. Player's Handbook. Just open that up for me. There you go. All right. Thank you, Mark. I'm glad you're liking it. In the realm says it all. I could keep the incantrix and bring back the 4. Yeah. In their own section. Oh, hags are definitely more evil than witches, but from a PC or even NPC class, the witch just intrigues me anyway. So locate plants. It's a 2nd level spell. Area of effect, 1 inch diameter circle, which means 10 feet, not 3 feet. And remember, spell area of effect does not increase when you're above ground, only the range. Range 0, so you cast it on yourself. When the spell is used by a druid, he or she is able to locate any type of desired plant within the area of effect. Note, plant type must be singular and concentrated on. The spell's area of effect centers on and moves with the druid. That's it. That's all it does. Okay, what are you trying to locate? Grass. Yes. What? Okay, I'm going to cast locate plants. What are you trying to locate? Clovers. Well, they're all around you, but a 4-leaf clover, that's not a type of plant. That's a plant. There's clover all around you. Anyone can locate plant. There's some grass. There's some moss. There's some different grass. Well, and I get what you're saying, Colton, as far as useless being like it could blow up in your face and things could go terribly wrong. I just mean useless, like, why is this even a spell? Not like, it bears a chance of something terrible happening. Hang on a second, guys. Sorry, Kitty had her foot wrapped around a camera cable there. I had to assist her. What if I need King's foil? Well, go find Aragorn. Sorry, guys, I was parched. That spell should be able to summon deadly plants and go wrong with these. Colton is determined to make something cool and badass out of locate plants. You rock, dude. I love that. That is taking the bull by the horns and just saying, you know what? No, I'm doing it. Right on. It's called filler, and also the reason why there are 5 editions. But yeah, I'm gonna look a little bit at the witch class now that I've bagged on locate plants and why I think it's the most useless spell. It's actually Volcano God turned me on to that being a useless spell, and I tried 6 ways to Sunday to say no. It could maybe no. So there's a couple of different kinds of witch. There's your your typical Halloween hag kind of witch. That was originally written by Bill Mulhausen, revised by Kim Moham and Tom Moldvay. Christopher Sims, greetings. You were tracking a rat. Yeah, but it only works within a 10-foot radius, and I think you'll know if there's a rabid ant 10 feet away. Then Tom Moldvay came back in a later issue, and greetings, Jorge. The Real Witch, a mixture of fact and fantasy. And Tom says, the word witch has several meanings in popular parlance. A witch is a woman who practices magic. The woman is usually either an ugly old crone or a beautiful young girl. Often because of her supernatural power, she can transform herself from one to the other. In modern occult parlance, a witch is an individual which practices a religion which supposedly traces its roots back in time more than 5,000 years. The practitioner of witchcraft can either be a male or female. The practice itself mixes a large amount of magic with its worship. The word witch comes from the Old English word weak, feminine, or wicca, masculine. It is akin to the Anglo-Saxon root word witan, which means to know, learn, or perceive. The words wise and wit have similar roots. Originally, a witch was someone who possessed knowledge, a person with keen perception, someone who was wise. Such knowledge included supernatural knowledge and the ability to see, quote unquote, into the spirit world. The knowledge of a witch possessed would have included knowledge of magic through the drawing of magical symbols, particularly through the use of Germanic runes or Celtic ogam. A witch would also be knowledgeable about herbal lore, locate plants, and hence is represented in the person who cured wounds and healed diseases in the village in an age whose medicine was still in an age where medicine was still in its infancy. So they're pretty different, but it's interesting in that they may be of most alignments. Witches in OD&D, which is the original, the non-Stevie Nicks type, could be lawful, neutral, or chaotic. Tom Moldvay, and he introduces some new spells: brew flying ointment, manufacture control doll, fascinate, acquire familiar, limited wish, shape change. And then there's a whole list of spells, many of which are from AD&D and require no additional explanation. Careful, Road March. don't get me booted off. But then they've also got stuff like seduction as a spell. Don't ask me to explain that. And they kind of they cleaned up the class a little bit as far as rules until we had the revised and expanded NPC class of the Witch, which was who was the last one? And they get fun stuff like candle magic, brew truth drug, brew love potion, and all the aforementioned spells. So they're nice NPCs to throw people at. And then Jack has very helpfully included this cross index showing where, I don't know if that'll, right here under my index finger there, showing where each of these comes from. Dragon issue / page. And then in the back, of course, there's content pages. Jack did a fantastic job with those, showing, again, this is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons with a list of the books, except no substitutes. This work is sourced from the following materials. No bookworms were harmed in the making of this work, though various colonies of molds and mildews have passed from this prime material plane to the astral and beyond. Zugmatoi will be irked. So, guys, as soon as Jack makes these available, whether they are just PDFs you can download and have printed up or whatever he's going to do with them, I'm sure he will let me know, and then I will let you guys know. And then you can have these volumes. I'm not lording this over you. I'm not saying, haha, I have these and you don't. Jack, can you give us a word? Couldn't have done it without the Dragon Decks, an incredible book if folks don't have it. Yes. But can you give us a word on when you might unleash these on the public, sir? That's what's great about my chat. You know, I like people actually in the chat, as it happens, confabbing on what their creations are like and what they are doing. Found a decorative spoon buried under the stairs of my house. Maybe it was some sort of folk magic. That's interesting. Release one at a time. The Libram is first. That is the cover art you're working on now. Excellent. Well, there you go, guys. And we'll keep you posted. I'll keep you posted. If Jack doesn't keep you posted, I will. But an easy way to follow Jack, I'm not going to make that joke anymore. Exalted NPCs is next. Is that layout is easier than the spell book? They float. And the Infinite Spellbook needs debate on its exact contents. Build a bridge out of them. That's right. So that was a fun mail call and a nice balm for my soul after today. And it's my wedding anniversary today. I was on my way out to buy stuff to make a wonderful dinner for the wife and I, and my alternator said, "I'm tired, boss." That's life. So tomorrow night, we will do a little bit of preamble ramble. I don't know. I'm thinking we might just jump into AD&D tomorrow night. You know, I'm thinking more about doing the content on shorter videos and just jumping into the gaming live stream tomorrow night. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jack. I do too, Jack. No, I knew what you meant, Jimmy. But yeah, I think we'll just jump straight into the game tomorrow night. You know, and just do like 8 to 10. And I'll put the content on shorter videos so you guys won't have to sit through a whole live stream. Or I don't know. Maybe I'll do content before. I don't know. Give you a bit of spool time though. I'm not sure what you mean. So, yes, but regardless of what we do tomorrow night, we will be playing first edition AD&D. Wednesday night, Kyle will be in the house. We are going to do a read through and some character creation for the Game of Conflict, the RPG that he has created. Thursday night, 24, John, 24 years. Thursday night will be Thirsty Thursday. We'll find something fun to talk about. And then Friday night, of course, maybe a little preamble ramble, but on Friday night, we play first edition Gamma World. That's right. There will be Gamma World on Friday night. So I hope you guys will be here to watch some Gamma World on Friday night. And then Monday, we just start the process over again. Monday, but guess what? Tuesday, We'll have to see about Tuesday, because Wednesday to the following Monday, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be in Lake Geneva. I'm going to be jet setting all across the Midwest and Eastern Seaboard, because you guys are sending me to GaryCon. So that's what's happening. And I'm looking forward to that. So, well, the Scoot, you should be here on Friday and watch us and watch us play, because there's stuff going down. The party is in the middle of a battle as we speak. A lake far away from burning. That's my hope, Clanner. That's my hope. But anyway, before we scoot, does anyone have any questions, any comments, any criticisms, any concerns? Now is the time. Now is the chance, because we're about wrapped up here. And by the way, I almost forgot. Of course, this live stream is brought to you by our friends at Hellebarde Games. Hellebarde Games makes the kind of adventures that they'd like to play, whether it's for Castles and Crusades, 5th edition, or the OSR. Old school is in play at the table with Hellebarde Games. And you can find them on their website at drivethroughrpg.com. That's not their website, but you can find them on their website at hellebardegames.com or on drivethroughrpg.com. Hellebarde Games. Next Wednesday, I'm leaving early in the morning. I will be up there early in the afternoon. I'm not going to Dragon Con, Sausage. I am going to GaryCon. I'm going to GaryCon. And one final word, guys. We are, let me see here. Channel content. Dashboard. We are at 4,299 subscriptions, if you can believe that nonsense. 4,299 on the channel. Thank you, everyone for all the subscriptions. And if we hit, guys, if we hit 5,000 subs between now and the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, which is a virtual convention hosted by yours truly, I will hold a raffle, and there will be 2 winners. It's not first prize, second prize. It's just winner A, winner B. Winner A gets the quality color reproduction of the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Player's Handbook, and the Monster Manual. Winner B will get a similar bound volume of the original D&D rule books. That I'll have to do bespoke. I'm sure I will enjoy reading through these, Jack, just like I have the Star Trek volumes over here. But anyway, until then, until tomorrow, guys, be good to each other. I'm going to scoot on out of here and get ready for some things for some Monday night AD&D. Until then, y'all be good to each other. Subscribe to us on Patreon or Subscribe Star, as you like. You can buy us a coffee. It's all good. I appreciate it. But the best thing you can do is keep spreading the word about the channel. And I will, I'll see you guys all next time. Thank you for the happy anniversaries. Be well. Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course?
naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.